Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 252. Are you doing these destructive things when it comes to scheduling? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. That's not just a trite saying, like I've said before. I really hope you're doing well. Last week, we had a great week. We went over elevating construct Takt planning. There might be a couple of, audio errors in that. My wife has just gone through, and Katie has just gone through the entire book again, noted some things, and our producer's going through and making sure that those edits are taken care of. When that happens, I will re-upload those episodes with cleaner intros, and so that you always have that. We really want you to have that content for free, and we'll also upload it on Audible because a lot of people really like that. So it was a great week last week. Our numbers were off the charts. I really hope that we continue to get this message out. These podcasts are helping everyone, and so thank you for sharing them. I want to ask you directly, please share the content. Please make sure that you're interacting with it. We love the reviews. We love everything that you're doing for us. It's making a difference. So it's really funny. I've been getting a lot of, it's funny, but it's also super cool. Somebody told me, I literally heard this from an executive the other day. Somebody said, well, we just finished this project really well. And I was like, oh, great. What did you do? And he was kind of being cheeky with me, but he was like, no. Sorry, let me go back. So on the podcast, no, I got the story wrong again. Dang it. Sorry. So I was talking to him. He said, the owner complimented the project team. They're like, you really pulled it in and did some great things on this project. What happened? And they said, well, we've been listening to this really cool podcast and it's really made the difference. And so they were giving us a really nice little compliment there because of the things that they've been implementing from the podcast. I hope that's true. Not for self-aggrandizement, not for things like that, but I hope the podcast is literally helping 5 projects have more remarkable conditions. I hope it's helping 10. I hope it's helping 50. I know that the information does. I would bet money right now there are at least 30 major projects that have implemented massive changes in the way they do business and work based off of the information, not because of me, but because of the information. I hope that's the case. I believe that's the case. I would bet some money on that. And that's really the payday. That's why we're all here together. That's why you share with me. That's why I share with you. That's why we partner together. And so I'm really happy about that. And here's a little quote that I wanted to share with you tonight, and it ties in perfectly. This is from Zig Ziglar. I hope, I messed up again. That's like mistake number 4. All right, sorry. Lack of direction, not lack of time is the problem. We all have 24 hours in a day. So it's not about the time. It's not about who we are, because you're fantastic people, all of you who are listening. It's about, do we have the right information and direction that we all deserve to have? The more we share, the better off we're going to be. So I love that. One quick reminder, and I'll mention this tomorrow as well, probably, but I revamped the website. We've got another page that I want to build for field engineers that would have the URL name leanfieldengineer.com. And that will start to get built out with more and more content, more and more downloads. I also will be building other pages for some of our other stuff, but I'm hoping by the end of next week. So right now we already have LeanTakt.com up and running and LeanSuperintendent.com up and running. They're all linked through the Elevate Construction website with some cool content and some videos, and we'll have more and more content there. Why am I talking about? So on the website, it talks about our 3 main focuses: project recovery, remarkable training and boot camps, and then construction and business consulting. So if you have any need for those, please check out some information on the website. Why Elevate? If you know somebody who needs our services, please let us know. We've got some great clients right now that we're taking care of, that we're going to be consistent with. And again, as we scale, we have more and more ability to have better and better people come on board and make sure that we have a wider range of services and the ability to take care of you. That's the trick, right? As we scale, having, not having too much work to where you're overwhelmed, but also having enough to where you can have the right people in the right seats on the bus. And there was a situation, when I'm out doing assessments, I'm gone for like a day, 3 days or whatever, I need boots on the grounds, and I have that available. As we get more services sold, more and more of that will come online in full-time positions. But the other day, somebody asked me for some help with negotiations, and I was like, I'm on a couple of trips, I can't help. But as we sell more and more of these services, more and more help comes on board to where not only will we have me out in the field working with you one-on-one, but we'll have people back in the office that can field some of these things on a consistent basis in case you need support, full-time scheduling. Oh, let me just say this. If you're on a project like an Intel project or a massive project and you need full-time scheduling support, or if you're in a company where you're like, I need, full-time, and even if it's remote, scheduling support, scheduling department support, let me know. That also increases our ability to expand and scale. So project recovery, training and boot camps, and consulting. Also, if you have a question, please let us know. We'll answer in a YouTube a video. I've been doing that with LeanTakt. We've got a couple of really cool videos. In fact, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The other thing is, if you want to attend a boot camp, whether it's a field engineer boot camp, superintendent boot camp, foreman boot camp, please let me know. We also do scheduling and Takt boot camps. We do operational excellence boot camps. It's whatever you need. The definition of a boot camp is it's going to kick your butt. Like, it's going to actually drive people forward and get it done. That's what the definition there is. So if you call, mild trainings boot camps, that's not a boot camp. Boot camp is you leave remarkably changed. And I know I use that word a lot, but I'm talking like there was some massive growth. So let me talk about what I'm excited about in life. We just got the LeanTakt YouTube site up, the LeanTakt, LeanTakt.com webpage up, and the LinkedIn page up, and we've already got like 8 or 9 videos. We've got some subscribers. I'm asking all of you, if you are in scheduling, in construction, if you're a superintendent, or if you're a scheduler, any of these things, or an owner, anything in construction, please go and look up the LeanTakt with no space, LeanTakt YouTube channel. And I would like you to please subscribe to that, because there is some great information in there. I want to constantly, open our minds up to that Takt planning, because it's one of the single best things that we can do on our projects. So let's keep going here. Today's podcast is about, don't do these things with scheduling. And we've closed out a really strong week last week with not only some Scrum episodes before that, but also this, this Takt book, which I hope has really given you an exposure to what Takt planning is and can be, and also some scheduling theory. I love the content. So I'm going to close that out with today's podcast, meaning if you're not going to do all the things I did tell you to do, please, I'm going to tell you things to not do, to help you out, because I love you, because I care. I'm not being judgy. So that's what our topic is today, but we will get to it right after this little topic from feedback from our fans. So here's what this person said. Just bought the book on Audible. Looking forward to getting into it. I usually listen to them on my way to and from the job site. I've been looking for ways to introduce training to my company specific to superintendents. It's such an important role, and the difference is significant between well-trained and focused supers and how their jobs are ran and how successful the overall project is. I always ask our trade partners who recently completed work with other competing companies, what did you think of the super on that project and what did they do well? It's cool to hear about the supers that run a great project and what qualities they have. So this was some feedback from a listener, from a fan. I thought that was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Here's the conflict for you. you're making some pretty common mistakes alone. Alone is the key word there. If we have fresh eyes, if we have an outside perspective, heck, if you even send your schedule and schedule a meeting with me to do a fresh eyes meeting on your schedule, you'll be better off because, not just because of me, but if you get experienced people, general superintendents, project directors, executives, me, whoever, the wider team, another team that's built that same kind of a project, you're going to not make the same mistakes that they made, meaning you won't be repeating history, right? You will be doing better off because you have the wisdom of the team. So let me tell you a story. One time I heard at a really, prestigious company about the concept of a fresh eyes meeting. And quite frankly, somebody did that with me. They checked in with me 6 months before the end of the project. They had a couple of fresh eyes meetings at the end to make sure I was on track. It was beautiful. It was absolutely fantastic. And so then I mentioned to the general superintendent, we should do this for every project. And the comment that came back was, well, yeah, if you got that time in your schedule, go ahead, hey, that's fine. Do whatever you want. So then when I went to Oakland, and they did a great job of implementing this and still do, they probably have one of the highest functioning scheduling departments that I've ever seen. I would put them up against anyone. They started to do fresh eyes meetings for every project that went out the gate, meaning they had their schedule, sequence maps, logistics, basis of schedule, Takt plan, everything. The research done, all of it put together, and then they would get at least 100, 200 years of experience outside of the actual team in the room to review the project. And I'm not going to give you exact numbers on the podcast, but their numbers for completion rates and success, went through not through the roof. For the industry, it went through the roof. Really, really well, really, really great results. And they're continuing to do that. Every project that goes out gets a fresh eyes meeting. And my point in telling you this story is that in those meetings, everything that the teams pretty much talked about in those fresh eyes meetings happened exactly that way. But now there was a risk and opportunity register with a plan to mitigate those risks ahead of time. When we were like, hey, this kind of project, door frames are going to be late. Hey, this kind of project, you're going to have trouble with your exterior skin. Hey, getting that experience in the room. There are builders out there that have built almost anything that we've ever done in construction. It's not all new. You know what I mean? Some of it's new, but you can almost exactly predict what's going to happen and then mitigate that. I mean, it's fantastic. So that's my little story. I really believe that with the right second set of eyes, we can prevent so many mistakes. Now, I've listed, and I'm going to go through these quickly, 41 common mistakes that I see in my experience in leading scheduling departments, schedulers, superintendents, reviewing probably by this point hundreds of projects. I think it's hundreds now, and actually being like over dozens. And that's not bragging. That's just, these are some things that I commonly see. So I'm going to go through these quickly. My message is don't do this when it comes to scheduling. All right. So here we go. List number 1, do not show an owner a 57-page schedule in the proposal phase. Don't do that. Show them a Takt plan or a simplified summarized version, and then show them based on decisions that they can make, what are some of the risks and opportunities with the schedule, and make it visual. Number 2, do not take too long in schematic or design development to react to design and show what if schedules to the design team. When they say, hey, if I chopped a floor down here, or I added a basement there, or did this, don't say I'm going to get back to you in a week. With Takt planning, you can show within days or hours even what those what if scenarios are. Please don't leave the design teams hanging with this. If you can't get it done, if you choose to use CPM or you have to, and you choose to do that, don't take too long. Don't go take it off in a silo and do that. Do it simply with by summarizing the schedule. And the best way to do this is with a Takt plan. Do not take too long to get that design team their information, make it real time. Number 3, do not create too much detail too early. Now, somebody's going to get thrown a little bit with this. Do not create too much detailed logic tied detail, too early. But if you want to create Takt planning flow detail, you can create that on day one, schematic design, because it's high level enough to not be too risky. And also you can get the throughput, the Takt wagons, the Takt trains built and put together based on historicals pretty well in a Takt plan in that kind of a hold system. But I'm talking about individual, like level 3, level 4, logic tied, sequenced in CPM or in last planner detail. Do not do that too early in the schedule. It will just waste your time. Number 4, do not build a CPM schedule before the construction documentation phase. Meaning, if you're doing a CPM schedule and you have that schedule in the proposal phase, schematic design, design development, you're just wasting your time. You're creating detail that you have no idea about way too early. Create a Takt plan in those phases. Then if you have to do CPM, use your Takt plan as the structure for the WBS and the sequences and the flow and the overall duration and get it done from there. Okay, so don't build a CPM schedule too early. Number 5, this is crucial. Do not sell the wrong duration. Now, if you start with a CPM schedule, you're probably going to sell the wrong duration. It's probably going to be too short. If you create a Takt plan with the right buffers and you show that crew flow and exactly what it's going to take based on historicals, every time I've used Takt planning, it's shown the right date. We've been able to hit it beautifully. Do not sell the wrong end duration. Do not go into early phases of design with, I think we can hit that with optimistic feel. No. It's better to show them long. Go win the job. Go lie to the owner, whatever you want to do. I don't advocate that. I'd rather not do that. But the industry, everyone in the stinking proposal phase, when we're bidding work or we're interviewing for work, everyone lies to the owner. And owners, you all know that. So if you're mad at me, it's your fault because you incentivize them to lie to you by always choosing the low bidder and the shortest duration when you know it's not realistic, and then they just hit you with change orders and an increased budget anyway. So if you're mad at me for saying that, it's your fault, Mr. and Mrs. Owner. But everyone lies in proposal phase. There's a 10, 15, 20% difference between what we can sell and what we can build. So once you get into schematic design, you are obligated to immediately show what's real. We have to show real durations. You're only going to be able to do that well with Takt plans. Do not optimistically think, hey, I can do this. No, look at that project. You've built one of these things before. You know what you're doing. Show the most conservative schedule and then work back from there. Otherwise, the design team is going to use whatever money you're not spending on GCs and GRs on design, and then when you surprise them later, I need 6 weeks, they're going to be like, well, I don't have any money for that, and you're going to make everyone mad. So do not sell the wrong duration. And if you do have to sell the wrong duration, then at least pick it back up in schematic design and tell the owners what the is. Number 6, do not create a schedule without flow. If all of you all out there are still mad at me because I'm bashing on CPM, I'll give you 2 answers for that. You're welcome for being the only one right now that's like bold enough to tell the truth. Number 2, I'm apologizing for you hurting your feelings. If you really want to use CPM schedules, you have to at least start with Takt, get that flow in the schedule, crew tie everything, and make sure that they match. Do not, under any circumstances, on any earth, even God couldn't build a construction project without flow. Do not do this. Do not plan a project without flow. That's number 6. Number 7, don't build a schedule without the builders. So there's good, better, and best here, right? So good, right, would be better than not doing this, but is having a scheduling department that actually built schedules complete and then transferred it to the team. Better is that they build those schedules with the builders that will end up building it. Best is that the builders that will end up building it will actually do the scheduling and the pre-construction themselves early enough in pre-construction. The best, I'm going to say this, I'm going to make somebody mad. I live for this. Okay. If you're a builder and you don't have people in pre-construction coming in early that can actually start early in pre-con that will then build the building, you're not there yet. You haven't arrived. The best builders do that. The builders that just get by won't have the people and the capacity and the builders to go put in pre-construction. If you want to be great, you get your builders in pre-construction and let them plan and then execute that project. So do not build a schedule without the builders. Number 8, do not create any part of the original baseline schedule after reaching a guaranteed maximum price, a GPM. Do not do that. Sometimes I've seen projects where I'm coming in to help and it's 2 months in and they're like, yeah, we're still developing the schedule. I'm like, what? You've been building for 2 months and you don't have the schedule built? What are you talking about? That is like the definition of insanity. Number 9, do not let the owners talk you out of schedule contingency. It's a standard. Even in CPM, schedule contingency is a thing. You do it. You just do it. Don't even ask them. Like, can we have schedule contingency? I don't care what you think, Mr. and Mrs. Owner. Schedule contingency is a thing. If you're not going to let me have schedule contingency, then we're going to take out the financial contingency. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You have 1.5% or 3% or financial contingency. We need to have 1.5% or 3% schedule contingency as well. It's absolutely stupid. Like, I've been dying all day to say something stupid. This is absolutely stupid for anyone to assume 100% efficiency on a construction project. The bottom line, and I'll do a podcast about this later. In fact, I'm going to take a note right now and put it up here. There is no such thing as a critical path. There is no such thing. You shouldn't have a critical path. Let me finish typing this. As a critical path. I'm going to get this going. Why do you have a critical path? Why would any idiot schedule a project to where you have the longest sequence of activities with zero flow? What are we talking about here? No. We do not build construction projects like that. There is no way to plan on that. And if somebody was like, no, we have a critical path. It's just we built the float into the activities. Well, that's stupid because now you have all of the later activities intentionally starting late. There's no such thing as a critical path. Your project does not have one critical path. You should not have a critical path. If you created a project with a critical path, you don't know what you're doing because that's just not how you build jobs and finish them. If you built a construction project and you have a critical path to your end date, then you are planning on 100% efficiency or you're starting people intentionally late. It's really, really, really not a good process. I'll do a podcast on that some other time. You're welcome for that. So let's make sure let's have that conversation in the future at a minimum. Okay. I have so many of these things. I'm losing my place here. All right. So, schedule contingency. You have to have that. All right. Do not fail to get all critical flow sequences in the schedule. Sometimes people will build a schedule. Honestly, I'm telling you this truthfully. They'll forget the stairs. They'll forget the basement mechanical rooms. They'll forget the elevator. Like, go through your drawings and make sure you've highlighted. If you have the general areas in the exterior and the side, go through and highlight and circle key sequences and make sure that you have those in the schedule. Do not fail to tie permitting, entitlements, and design into the schedule. Here's another thing. We talk about phase design. We talk about different bid packages and fast tracking projects. Well, if you have all that scheduled properly and it's intelligently tied to the work, then you're going to have a really good fast track project. Most of the time, ignorant people will go do a fast track project and say that it's a fast track project when all they're doing is not completing the design per geographical segments in the building, phases, and not allowing work to proceed. And then the contractor has to eat it. And it ends up being an absolute disaster from an operational standpoint. So if you're going to fast track design, if you're going to have separate bid packages, make sure that you have complete design for geographical areas for phases of that project so that at least those phases can fast track and move forward. Okay, so always make sure permitting, entitlements, and design is tied properly to that schedule. 12. Do not start building information modeling too soon in fast track designs and then just coordinate the building twice. Make sure, like if you have corn shell and then interiors, don't go coordinate everything and then, now I got my TI package. Now I got to coordinate it twice and spend twice the amount of money. Intelligently schedule your building information modeling. 13. Do not hold any stops when getting out of the ground, meaning don't fail to just really get out of the ground quickly. If you have basement, if you have concrete, expedite those trades as much as you can. That's the only place. No, not the only place. Most of the time, the only place in the schedule where you can make up ground. Number 14, don't guess on the exterior or the basement. You have to do a flow analysis for the basement. You have to do a geographical, day-by-day geographical analysis for the basement, or you will not finish on time. For the exterior, you have to do a flow analysis. Do not guess on those sequences. Number 15, don't forget about deferred submittals. That's pretty self-explanatory. Number 16, plan for buyout and submittals all at once. Do not plan that buyout and the submittals, the approval of submittals and the submission of submittals to the architect and the engineers will happen all at once, stacked together. You have to create a flow. You have to create a stagger. You have to level those out. So don't lie to yourself and think that you can get your designer to approve all submittals on their project in 2 weeks or a month. Here's another thing. Number 17, don't fail to plan perimeter rooms. Almost every project, especially in Arizona where we don't have weather, maybe in some of the more inclement states, you just naturally do this. But in Arizona, once the superstructure is up, we start building the interiors day one. And inevitably, because the exterior is not done, we'll have to come back and do some perimeter rooms to tie in those demising walls and complete that construction. And when we're doing our planning, we never show that, right? We're like, we present this plan to the trade partners like it's going to be all happiness, butterflies and kittens, and it's not. Don't fail to plan for perimeter rooms if you know they're going to happen. Number 18, don't forget how the exterior will affect the interior. That kind of goes along the same lines, but you have to look at those tie-ins. Number 19, don't underestimate how hard it will be to dry in that building. And don't assume the best. That's number 20. Don't assume the best for the exterior. Exteriors usually use up 20%, usually have 20% waste and delays within them by nature of the work. I'm not saying I like that. I'm working to get rid of it, but don't assume the best, or don't even come close to assuming 100% efficiency for exteriors. I would venture to guess that 80 is a good target, but that's even optimistic. Number 21, do not assume the owner will know what's needed. You need to tell them. Structural cabling, owner furnished equipment, the design of your communication systems, your tie-in to the building management system, design in and of itself. Do not ever assume the owner knows when things will be needed. You give them last responsible moment dates for everything that's within their realm of decision making. Number 22. Do not push anything to the last third of the project. If you're being delayed, handle it then. Handle it in your 1/3 or 2/3 milestone. Do not push things to the last third. It's already too aggressive. That's when we start to enter into crash landings. I'm going quickly now. I think we're at a good pace on this podcast. Number 23, do not sign up a contract without knowing what the definition of substantial completion means to your owner and to that municipality. Substantial and final completion. Number 24, don't fail to look at the contract requirements for the schedule. What did they buy in there for float? What did they buy in there for monthly reports? What did they buy in there for shared float? You have to go look at the prime agreement. You have to go look at your Division 1 specifications in order for you to know this. Do not go forward. And let me just rant a little bit. Some of the people that lecture me about scheduling are the same ones that will go build a CPM schedule. And I'm like, well, what are we contracted to? I don't know. Where's the phasing drawings? I don't know. Where's the logistics drawings? I don't know. What do the specs say? I don't know. Well, how in the HE double hockey sticks did you create a schedule without knowing what these sequence areas are named and what we're contractually tied to? This is stupid. Those are the button pushing schedulers. Those aren't the builder schedulers, right? So don't ever publish a schedule without knowing those requirements. And then number 25, don't ever publish a schedule without the phasing maps and the site logistics and the basis of schedule providing the context for what those activities show. Number 26, don't fail to plan procurement. Really, if we didn't have procurement, like if we could just snap materials out of midair, we wouldn't really have schedules. We would just use Scrum or Last Planner just within that week and decide what we could do. right? We have long schedules to manage procurement. So it seems really idiotic to me when I see a project site and there, yeah, we don't have the transmittals tied, we don't have the deliveries tied, we don't have procurement tied, we don't have the exterior, we don't have the elevator tied. Why not? The main reason we have a schedule is to manage our supply chains. You have to have procurement. Do not fail to plan procurement. I want you to have your elevator, your exterior skin, and any other critical long-term procurement items in your schedule. And I want somehow your logs for procurement all tied to when you need them, their first required on job date for those geographical areas. Number 27, don't forget the fresh eyes meeting. Do not go out there and start a project without bringing other people in to review their plan. It will make this one single thing. I didn't even have to tell you all the other 26 things I just told you if you just get your own internal people to do a fresh eyes meeting with you. Number 28, don't make your schedule too complex. If I can't understand your plan for your project within 30 seconds to 5 minutes, then you've got a problem. And you couldn't sit me down for 3 hours to understand your 78-page CPM schedule. Do not make your schedule too complex. Number 29, do not falsify what is going on. Let me be clear about this. Anybody listening to this podcast, you are not legally authorized to show on a schedule falsified data. You cannot absorb an owner impact without showing it. You cannot falsify data. You are not authorized by anyone in your company to do this. If your project executive or director or general superintendent ends up telling the owner that we'll still hit the end date, that's fine. That's their call. But you still have to show reality in the schedule. I can't tell you how many times there's been a crash landed project and they call us in and they say, we need to, have a discussion with the owner, with the lawyers about what happened and show exactly what happened with the impacts. And we go back and look at it. Nothing. No. Yeah, there's this huge 2-month delay and nobody put it in the schedule because they were playing lowercase s savior with the owner. No, this is stupid. Do not falsify data. Do not dissolve logic. Do not fail to show what's really going on. You put every single impact. That's item number 3. You put every impact into that schedule. You show everything. You tell the truth every time. You do not have 2 schedules. You have one schedule that shows truth all the time. That's it. Number 31. Don't have too little detail to show with sequences for critical float paths. Here's what I'm talking about. So some people will be like, oh, I know how to do interiors. Here's 85 activities in just one 10,000 square foot area. Oh, I don't know much about commissioning. So here's one big long 80-day duration activity. No. It needs to be balanced. You need to have decent detail for concrete, decent detail for interiors, decent detail for commissioning, decent detail for site work. I don't know how many times, I can't tell you how many times somebody said, we're behind schedule. I need to show the owner. And the owner's like, okay, show me. And they can't show it because the flow paths aren't calculated when using CPM or the buffers aren't showing correctly. Well, actually, this doesn't happen a lot with Takt, but hypothetically, the buffers aren't showing correctly in Takt because we don't have the sequences built. You need to have that site work at least generally sequenced out and detailed out if you want your flow paths shown correctly. Number 32, do not start a project without getting crew count commitments for major trains, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, framing, concrete, steel. You're going to want to get commitments on crew sizes before you go to work. Do not wait to enter in commissioning. We know how to commission buildings. I want to see balancing in there. I want to see pre-functional checklists. I want to see functional performance testing. I want to see the testing as it ties with the elevator. I want to see fire sprinklers. I want to see fire alarm. I want to see how your network ties in. I want to see the internet, add the actual network throughout the building. Controls. I want to see everything that's happening. I want to see when you're doing your fire alarm testing with your duct detectors and not have that coincide with when you're doing your balancing. Make sure that you have your commissioning in there, or again, you won't have the right buffers shown, or you won't have the right float paths shown if you're using CPM. Number 34, do not plan on 100% efficiency with anything. Right now, think back. When was the last project where you hit 100% of all of your activities? if you can't tell me or remember that, then why in the world are you planning a project, planning on 100% efficiency? That's stupid. Like, let's stop doing this. Number 35. Don't target the end date. This might seem like a silly thing. You should not be targeting substantial completion from day one. You should be targeting your 1/3 point milestone or other intermediate milestones and crash land, control land to those early milestones. Do not push everything to the end. Number 36, do not start too late with the schedule. If I hear that, design development or the CDs, construction documents are being developed and we don't have a schedule, I start freaking out. The latest possible time you need to be developing your schedule is basically 50% design development. 37, do not summarize critical sequences. Make sure that you have those critical sequences detailed out so everyone can see what's going on. Number 38, do not over detail what's easy and ignore the difficult areas. I've talked a little bit about that before. 39, don't get too overwhelmed. Most superintendents see, I've got a $150 million job. Where do I start? They get overwhelmed. And I always tell them, look, go page by page. Every page, highlight the sequences, highlight your actual production areas, your Takt zones, and then just write down what the sequences are within there, and then flip the other page, and then flip the other page. And then you can start entering all that into your schedule. Then you can start logic tying it, but you have to start. So do not get overwhelmed and then not start your schedule early enough. Number 40, do not broker out the updating of the schedule. The schedule to a superintendent is as the finances are to a project manager. You can't delegate that and still know what's going on with the job. When I was a super, I updated my own schedule every week. Hey, if you argue with me on this, you go do your thing. You go do it however you want. But I'm telling you, if I put supers up against you that are updating their schedule every week, they're going to win over you every time. So it's your career. Number 41, do not eat up your float or your buffers right away. You need to make sure that you're holding the line, holding people accountable, and that you continue to have a percentage of that float or a percentage of those buffers as you go. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't bore you, honestly. I hope some of these triggered some things. Now, there's probably 41 other ones that you need to pay attention that are common in your company. Well, how is this? Okay, Jason, well, you just told me there's probably more. How is this podcast worthwhile? It was worthwhile because I've just convinced you that having a second set of eyes is helpful in your schedule. So if you don't learn anything from me today, please make sure that you are leveraging the wisdom of the team and doing a review with other wise people that have built these projects before, and get into a 2, 3, 4 hour fresh eyes meeting with your schedule before you reach a GMP and go into contract. Our current situation is we do some pretty silly things with schedule and we end up getting in trouble. And I challenge you to get that help and make sure you're following good scheduling practice. And if you want to, do a fresh eyes meeting with Elevate Construction. They're absolutely game changing. I want you to be able to better manage your schedule. Start with Takt, but if you still refuse to do Takt planning and to sign on to LeanTakt, the LeanTakt YouTube channel, at least don't do those things that I just told you. On you go. No, I am getting old. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing,